had a question about that. Well, a comment. Do you? I don't know. Like in Texas, where I am, I know that there's a lot of people, like especially where I live in South Texas. There's a lot of people who don't have insurance, and it's because a lot of them are illegals or not making a lot of money. And so if I like it when I do drive, I don't drive right now. But when I do drive, I always make sure I get insurance for people who aren't covered because there is such a problem here. So I
Well,
figure, I mean, that's kind of an issue I think too with the illegals. Is that a problem in California, like in LA, or it is in South Texas?
I want to go back to the top of the school board, well, the school systems, real quick, because I think I'm telling my age. I'm a little older than you guys, but I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and I had a very good quality education. To the point where, I was I dealt with a little bit of segregation. I was the only Black little girl in my entire elementary school. But I got a good quality education by those white teachers that, taught me about my country and about my American history, about my Black American history. They taught me, about, the importance of being a Black American child. A lot of the curriculum that we have now is not like the curriculum that I had when I was in school. They took a lot of the civics out. They took a lot of the American history out. The Black history is maybe like one line now. And, it used to be more. So a lot of the quality education that I had in the 70s and 80s doesn't exist. That's why we have a lot of these liberal children that are confused, and a lot of these, illegal immigrant children that are confused in regards to the land of the law of the United States, because it's no longer taught in the school systems. Then I want to bring up the fact, because my nephew, he went to Ohio State, and he brought this to my attention, and a couple other people brought this to my attention. My nephew went to Ohio State, and he had another college friend that was from India who also went to Ohio State, but his friend from India was here on a free, I guess, scholarship or tuition. But my nephew had to get, student loans. So when they got done, with their degrees, the Indian guy was able to go back to his country. He got a free education. Then he was able to come back to the United States on a visa and get a good job as a doctor. As my nephew that was, American child, had to pay and still paying for his student loans. So there's a lot of problems with these international children that are coming from these different countries and getting a free education, as the federal government and all these, Fannie Mae, Sally Mae, and all them put the American people and children on the hook. So, they have to pay back their student loans, but we have people that come from different countries that don't have to pay a dime. So how does that work? So the American people get penalized, but these other people can come from different countries and get a free education. That's not right either. So, that's a big problem that also needs to be addressed, in the United States, because this is what's happening. And now these international people are in the school systems, and they haven't fully assimilated to American culture or values. So what are they teaching our children? This is why we have a dumbed down society in the United States, because the real teachers are no more, because America is now full of international people that have no idea about our American history, what we went through, what wars we fought. They don't know that information. They don't know about the Emancipation Proclamation. They don't know about the Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights 1 and 2. They don't know about those binding instruments that made up America, and they're not teaching them to our children. This is why our children are confused, and and their children are advancing. Their children from different countries are advancing over the American children. That's why, you see a lot of them. What is that in Silicon Valley, working at all the IT jobs? Who do you see? You see Indian children, Chinese children. You don't see American children working those jobs. They get those good jobs. The international children. So this is a big problem, because also too, when you go for a job, some of those jobs look at your credit report, and if you have American child that is back behind on their student loan, they're not going to get that job because they're looking at their credit. So we're dealing with stuff like that, that needs to be addressed too, as far as these school systems go.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
don't get me started on the public education.
No, get them, get
The
them, get them.
school, this is now you got me into this, because it's not even school, it's just an indoctrination camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're telling people what to think, not how to think. I don't understand, but this is what happens when you have centralized control, state power over public education.
Back a little bit,
Yep.
okay? Because you're losing me here
Yep,
a little
okay.
bit, okay? You're saying they're brainwashing, okay? You're saying
Yep.
these people that are experts in brainwashing is using the Department of Education to
Yep.
brainwash our children.
Yes.
What are they after? Why are they doing it?
Well, if you want to move a country from a free individualistic economy,
Which we have?
yes, or had,
Or had, okay.
to a planned economy, you have to do it through the schools. You have to dumb down and brainwash, change the attitudes and values. You have to completely, social engineering has to go on constantly. And many teachers know what I'm talking about.
Government runs the DMV. The DMV sucks. Anything the government runs sucks. The only reason the post office works halfway decent is because they have competition from FedEx and UPS. So the problem is the schools aren't being controlled at the state and local level. They're against school choice, so schools don't have to compete against each other. It's like, well, you're a prisoner to your zip code, so you're going to get the worst public education possible. And so, like, under the guise of diversity, they're bringing these people over from other countries, and they want them to look different but think the same. And so it's even bigger than that. It's deeper than like immigration. It's just they want to dumb down the population, period. Think about what they're teaching kids. What are they introducing kids to now? Like transgenderism and, gay Santa Claus. Like, come on. Which of us went to school and learned about
gay Santa
Claus and all these other, gay Santa Claus,
Wow,
drag queen story hour. Do you guys remember about this drag queen story hour and all this stuff? So it's
Yeah.
what they're doing to kids is disgusting. It's manipulative, and parents really don't have an option other than send your kid to private school, like the rich liberals do. They send their kids to private school. They don't send them to public school. They sure do vote against that school choice, because kids are going to be stuck in them indoctrination camps. So,
Yeah.
and with the way that they teach history, the United States history, they're teaching it in a way to make people hate Western culture, make them hate Western civilization, make them hate the United States. That's why you're seeing people talking about this democratic socialism, because by the time you get to the college level, you're reading the Communist Manifesto, you're learning about Karl Marx, you're learning about, like I did in college, I took a class called Western Imperialism, and that's where they pretty much just had an assault on Western culture. They talked about colonization. They didn't talk about how capitalism has lifted more people out of poverty than any other economic or political structure ever. They talk about it like it's tyrannical and it's violent and it crushes other civilizations and destabilizes, but it's like it's lifted more people out of poverty than anything else. And then communism, which is the opposite, obviously, that's killed over 100 million people in the 20th century. So the way that they're teaching everybody from all cultures is to embrace the one world government, which comes under the guise of, multiculturalism, open borders, everybody gets everything, everything's free. They talk about how everything's going to be free. And, conservative Mexican talked about this too. He said, how are you going to have open borders, free education, free healthcare, and raise the minimum wage? Who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for that? we're going to be slaves. That's how it gets paid for. They're going to convince everyone to depend on the government. Like, oh, we'll take care of everything. You're just going to pay 100% of your earnings into a system and we'll control everything. That's freaking communism.
Yeah.
They're doing it in China.
Gay Santa Claus
do it in
is going to
China.
pay for everything.
And gay Santa Claus. So it starts at a very early. It starts at an early age with the indoctrination. You know, impressionable minds. You know, it starts really early. So they get them in elementary school, get them confused about their gender. They start talking down on the U.S. There's no Pledge of Allegiance anymore. And then by the time you get to college, you hate capitalism and want government to rule over you.
And
So,
as a teacher, I can speak to one of the reasons I quit. I mean, among other things, there's so many things wrong with the school system, but I felt like, you know, I was a part of teaching children that. There are a lot of teachers, you know, they don't question anything. They do what they're told. And then when I worked for LAUSD, I worked for a company called Hess and Kojin, which was, I was teaching English in Taiwan. But the thing that really made me open up and was looking at how English is taught. And basically, there's no critical thought, right? They just take these textbooks, translate to English. A lot of the articles and a lot of the stories, it's the same thing that we're being taught in this, you know, in the United States, but now it's given to foreign students. And the one thing that they count on is that when you're learning a different language and they don't teach you critical debate skills, you're kind of beholden to just accept what you're taught because you don't have the courage or even the language to articulate why you disagree with something. So now not only are we being indoctrinated in our country, but English learning and English teaching, ESL, is indoctrinating people in other countries. Like, you know, you have people that would, you know, you bring up some of these stuff and or some of the topics that we're talking about today, and they'll just be like, well, isn't that racist? I heard that on CNN. They're taught to, you know, they not only are they taught like what they're taught in school, but they're also taught to like, oh, if you want to learn English, watch CNN, watch BBC, read National Geographic, read Scientific American, which all of these publications and these companies, they also have their own agenda and they don't offer another narrative to what's going on. So people just soak that up and they don't have critical thought, like I said, or the vocabulary or the confidence to basically debate with people or ask questions because they don't want to like seem like they're stupid.
Right.
So
I totally agree. Yeah, you go ahead.
They'll be stealing our jobs in Spanish, Spanglish, or whatever. Like, it was you saying, though, for real, that's real. Like, because then people they're not comfortable enough, you know, with giving rebuttals or whatnot. My bad to cut you off.
Oh, me no. Yeah, I was just gonna say I 100% agree, which is why I homeschool. I think they teach you to hate America, and I think that like a lot of times, like you got to see what the other side's talking about, and then you pull up BBC or you pull up the other stuff, and like it's like the stuff that the foreigners would watch over in their country to learn about what was happening here, and it's all bad about us. It's like they make it seem like we all are on the same team with the liberals. Like everyone here hates Trump. Like even like the majority of the country hates him. The majority of the country agrees with like the immigration thing, and just like it portrays us like totally different. And that, I mean, that all that does is just push that agenda all around the world, the same agenda, because they think we're on board and we're not. And I remember Brandon Tatum, he did a rant one time, and he went to his son's school, and he said that they did the pledge, but there was no flag. And he asked the teacher why there was no flag, and they said, oh, well, it could offend some people. And I was, are you kidding me right now? If you get offended, and then you got to go, go back to your country.
But getting over than that, I used to have to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we had like, some kids, because of their religion, they didn't pledge, but they weren't disrespectful, like to, I think it was Jehovah's Witness or something like that, and he didn't pledge to allegiance, or something like that. For some reason, some religions is like that. At the end of the day, like I guess like the national anthem they will stand for or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's a big difference with like the NFL. With the NFL, like I'm sorry to hint towards them because I'm on the head. It's like taking a knee after a while for the national anthem constantly. is showing me that you don't really care about fixing the issue you was taking a knee for. You're just being petty. You don't actually respect the country you're in. This is a privileged country. We got a lot of opportunity and privilege to do anything. It's a
Well,
fair
you know
game.
what? I don't mean to cut you off. When they fought those wars, what flag did they put up in the air? Okay, when they
Damn
fought
right.
for United States, the Civil War, Vietnam War, they didn't put up no Mexican flag or any other country flag. The flag that they put up was the American flag. That is the flag of this country. And if you want to talk about the Confederate flag, guess what? It's a part of American history. We can't go back and change it. It's part of America. But those are the flags of the United States. Just like every other country got their own country flag for their country. Okay. The United States is, the flag is for the American people, and that is their flag. You don't come over to another country, okay, and that has basically allowed you to come over into their country for a better way, that you claim that you want a better way. I don't understand these people. They say they want to come over here for a better way, but then they want to cause chaos in this country. So I don't understand how that's a better way, because you could have did that in your own country, cause chaos and try to change the laws in your own country. You don't come over to our country and talk about you want a better way of life, but then you want to fight with the government and the American people and then turn around and burn their flag. Okay, so I'm not understanding that. Okay, you could have did that in your own home country. You didn't have to come over here and do that to us. So, it's a form of disrespect, because those veterans that they got on the street homeless, okay, I said, I wish, like, my father's a Vietnam veteran. I wish my father can go unprotect all these disrespectful American people that are turning their backs on the country and all the veterans. I wish they can go back, put all those American people back into war, and tell those American people that turn their backs on their own country, guess what? You out here in war, you and your family survive the best way you can with them bullets and them bombs coming at you, since you don't want to respect the country and you rather take care of another country people. I wish my father could go back and unprotect all them disrespectful American people and see how far you and your family get with bombs blowing over you, okay? And let's not forget about the Agent Orange that was sprayed over in Vietnam. Let's see how far you and your family get, okay, with those chemicals being sprayed on you and your family without those veterans there to protect you and your family. Let's see how far you can get for all these disrespectful people that want to talk about burning an American flag and what your veterans and your ancestors did for you and your family. Okay, it's a form of disrespect. Because it irks my nerves as I'm a daughter of a Vietnam veteran, and I know what my father taught me. I know what him and his military buddies talked about. It's a form of disrespect. You go out there, you talk about burning the American flag and not saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Next time a war breaks out in the United States, your family will be the family that's not protected, and let the terrorists and whoever else do what they want to do to you and your family, since you want to turn your back on the American people and that flag.